Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight is gonna be an interesting one because we have a lot of topics to discuss. Some, of course, that are ridiculous, some that are hilarious. Tonight we are gonna be talking about just a lot of failures. We're gonna be talking about the Marvels. I know you're all so excited for the Marvels. You can't wait for it to release. It's gonna be the movie of the century. But it seems like the Marvels is turning out to be quite a disaster, because now the reason for the Marvels MCU delay is worse than thought. I believe that it's been delayed, 3 times at this point, which already screams problems. One delay, okay, whatever. We'll give everything one free delay, but after it starts being delayed 3, 4, 5 times, like a lot of projects now, usually behind the scenes that means there's major issues. And it seems like, this film is turning out to be a disaster for them. We are also going to be talking about the brand new Peter, Pan and Wendy trailer that released today. This released only a couple of hours ago. It's number 2 on trending, of course, but it is not going well for Disney. Lots of bad news for Disney tonight, because it is already being massively ratioed. 17,000 likes to 57,000 dislikes, over 5,000 comments of people who are, of course, trolling the movie, memeing on it, and just, people that are generally upset with the fact that characters are race swapped, specifically Tinkerbell. It looks goofy. I'm sorry, the CGI doesn't look that great. It just looks kind of goofy. So we're going to be chatting about that as well. Almost 500,000 views. Not too bad. Only a couple of hours been up. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian. This is a topic that I wanted to briefly cover because, of course, The Mandalorian starts back up, I believe, tomorrow. And, of course, I know a lot of people are not watching it because they fired Gina Carano and Cara Dune's character will not be in the show. But I wanted to talk about some of the articles that have released specifically about Cara Dune and how they are addressing her absence in the series. Specifically how they're saying she's not dead. She's just off somewhere else. And to me, it sounds like for right now, they're kind of letting it die down, just letting this character die down so people really aren't talking about the character. To me, their statements read as they are going to use her again in the future, but probably recast and do something else with this character. That is at least what all of these articles and statements kind of scream to me. We're going to be chatting about The Last of Us, because of course, The Last of Us has been going along, and people have had a lot of criticisms. The actresses have all come out and basically called us homophobes for not enjoying the series or having criticisms. And, well, now the show is being called racist. Because why not? Can't say I'm surprised. HBO's The Last of Us is continuing a concerning pattern from the video games. They basically say that, there's representation in the show, which should be a good thing, but nothing is ever enough to these people, because now they're saying, well, the black characters are dying, and that's not okay. It just shows that, well, surviving in a world with the undead is hard, but being black in this universe is even harder. You just can't win with these people. That's the problem. Right? I'm all for inclusivity, diversity. These are great things, but it's just never enough for these people. Yep, they are eating themselves alive. Classic. And to wrap up the night, we are going to be talking about Forspoken. Game of the year. People are so excited about this. Everyone's loving it. But, well, it's not looking too good for these developers, because the Forspoken studio has now been shut down. And, all of the developers that have been pushed to different projects. Of course, Luminous Productions is a pretty big group of people. They did Final Fantasy. A lot of the developers, I should say, worked on Final Fantasy And they were all kind of shoved into this Luminous Productions. They were going to be, hopefully for them, working on a lot of different projects under this name, but it's not that way anymore because now the subsidiary studio, shut up, Stream Deck. Now the subsidiary studio has been shut down, which is just so hilarious because we knew that this game was bad. Of course, there were individuals who were saying, it's not that bad. You guys are just being toxic about it. You guys are just not giving this game a chance. And, I mean, the game's been out for a couple of months at this point, but it was such a massive failure that, well, now Luminous Productions is no more, which is just chef's kiss, just the icing on the freaking cake. So, those are the topics that we are going to be discussing tonight. Hello, everyone. I hope that your evening is going well. We'll get started in a minute or two. We'll probably start with the Marvels and kind of go down the list. I have to say I'm most excited to talk about Forspoken because, fuck Forspoken. It was just so bad. It was so bad. And I remember like a year ago when it was announced and they were releasing trailers, I mean, it seemed okay. But as time went on, it just got worse and worse. And well, I mean, here we are. Absolute nightmare fuel. Oh, also, not too much of a discussion here. They finally announced the Elden Ring DLC. Dreams really do come true. On the 1-year anniversary of Elden Ring's release, they announced that it is going to be getting a DLC called Shadow of the Erd Tree. They said that they just put it into production, and well, who the fuck knows when it's gonna come out. I think it'll release in like October. I think it'll release, yeah, like September, October, and if not, then it's definitely going to release on the 2-year anniversary. It's going to release next year in February, but I don't think so. I think that we'll get it before the holidays this year. But if they don't hit that time frame, then it's definitely coming out on the anniversary, which is sad because, well, I want to play Elden Ring now, but it gives me time to do a 100% completionist run. So freaking excited. Elden Ring is one of the best games ever. Melania DLC, so it's not Melania DLC, but Queen Marika, who ends up dying, is gonna be the central character from at least what we understand about the art, because she's riding Tauren, and she was the vessel for the Elden Ring, so it seems like it's before the main game, but who knows. Either way, at least one of the nice, pretty ladies is one of the main characters, which honestly works for me. But yeah, Elden Ring DLC. I want it to release now. I'm very impatient. The early visuals for Forspoken looked good, but I think they were very selective in what they showed. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at the final product versus what they showed a year ago, it's like what they showed like a year ago was not much different than the final product that we got. But a year ago when they were announcing the game and showing it as alpha footage, by now we expected it kind of to be much better because it looked the same kind of a year ago, besides of course the CGI trailers, which that's a problem with the way the games are promoted now. There's so many of these big flashy CGI trailers and then the final product comes out and you're like, oh, so that's all you had to give us? But yeah, more maidens, some nice Elden Ring maidens. Hopefully it'll be good though. I'm impatient though. Forspoken was the fantasy version of the Saints Row reboot. You know, I haven't really viewed it that way, but I have to agree. Well, the thing with well, wait a minute. The thing is that Forspoken, the main character was from our normal worlds, wasn't she? I mean, she was wearing fucking Jordans, right? She was in jeans and a t-shirt, so she was from our world, so Maybe she was part of the Saints Row crew. Actually would make sense. Vera hugs her pillow at night while dreaming about Elden Ring DLC. Elden Ring is, I'm gonna be honest, since it released, it's nothing's gonna be able to ever live up to Elden Ring. Besides maybe like Elden Ring 2. Sorry, it's just as perfect. Close to perfect, I should say. That sounds very optimistic. I hope you're right. I'm an optimist. You guys know that. I'm positive and optimistic and just so great. Definitely never negative. Never. I don't even know what the word negative really means. She was a hobo from our universe. Actually true though. I didn't get Forspoken. I not like I didn't buy it because I didn't, but I just didn't get it on a creative level. Like, yeah, I understand stories where like a character is from our world and then gets shoved into this fantasy world, but Forspoken, from everything I read about it, from all of the gameplay that I saw, it didn't make sense. It's just like they wanted to create a fantasy story, but they were like, well, let's also have her come from a normal world so that she can say swears and like cool references to things that they wouldn't say in a fantasy world. It just felt very forced. Like, honestly, I think that if they hadn't gone for that like real world angle, I feel like the game would have been much better because it would have at least been kind of a cohesive plot and like character development. I don't know. I don't think anything could have really saved it, but it could have been a little bit better. Vera negative? Nah, never. I don't even know what the word negative means. But, alright guys. With that being said, we'll have a lot of time for Forspoken talk. The first topic of the evening that we're going to discuss is the Marvels. Now listen, I know you guys are so excited for this movie. You guys have simped for this for years at this point. I mean, you guys loved Captain Marvel, you loved Miss Marvel, you love WandaVision. I know you love these characters. They are just the best women you've ever seen in entertainment. For sure, surely. But this movie has gone through development hell from what we know, and it doesn't look like it's going to get much better because now there are a lot of new, rumors and also just news releasing about this film. This is a Cosmic Book News article. Reason for the Marvel's MCU delay is worse than we thought. Now, I talk a lot about the MCU. I've been disappointed in the direction of the MCU. I know a lot of you guys have been as well. I just don't really have a lot of hype for it anymore. It's not just one project at this point. You know, if 6 years ago they were talking about the Marvels and that was like the only bad movie on the radar, I'd be like, meh, whatever. It's one bad movie. But at this point, I unfortunately am so unimpressed with the MCU. It's very rare that I actually get excited for a new movie, so I'm not surprised to hear that this film is not doing good behind the scenes so far, but it says there is more bad news surrounding the MCU, this time which pertains to the Marvels. Recently saw Disney and Marvel announce a new release date for the Marvels as they push the flick back a second time with a delay of 4 months from a summer July release date to November 10th. So we're not at the point where it's seeing massive delays like the Flash where it's at 6, 7, 8 freaking delays, but you know, 2 delays multiple months at a time isn't good. It says the rep reported on the new release date and offered that the delay was to give the film more time for post-production, which is something that fits with all the rumors surrounding the visual effects problems, such as with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It does seem behind the scenes like this is a major issue, is that it's like they don't have enough people working on the visual effects, and of course CGI and VFX are massively important to these films now. The only issue that I have with that is that looking at Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania specifically right now, some of the CGI and the visual effects, it is pretty good, right? It's not like it's bottom of the barrel and awful, but there's also those moments, MODOK, that are god-awful. And it's like they ran out of money, they ran out of time, and they just had to yeet a product out, which is the issue. Just because a movie is 75% good visual effects, that's great. But that other 25% is all people are going to remember. When you have something like the MCU, which has been going on for years and years, they're constantly trying to top the last project, you're eventually going to hit a wall where nothing is going to impress people, and we are getting to that point. When I'm watching a Marvel movie and I'm looking at all of these effects, it's like, yeah, that's cool, it looks decent, but it's still... they've hit a wall. It's still not something like a Way of the Water, which is almost flawless. And, well, it seems like post-production is not going great because they are behind on projects. They need more time, probably more money, and, well, they're running into major delays now. It says, so it was figured that since The Marvels was given more time for post-production, that it was about the VFX, as the film is going to be another heavy CGI-intensive movie, so Disney and Marvel delayed the release to make the flick look all the better instead of what happened with Quantumania. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say I'm surprised, because it does take a lot of time to figure out CGI and to get designs right, but I gotta be honest, I don't even think that this movie is going to be successful with good CGI. That's a whole other problem. They could put a lot of time and money into the CGI, and it might look really, really pretty by the end of it. But if the story is shit, the progression is shit, and people just do not like the movie in general, is all of that pretty, shiny, glittery effect gonna matter? No, it's not going to. It says, however, the real problem might not just be with the visual effects with the Marvels, as two sources offer a different reason, which is even more worrisome. Of course, take this with a grain of salt. Not confirmed, but according to Grace Randolph, the reason for the delay is that the movie tested poorly with audiences in screen tests, and it says the Marvels was pushed from summer to winter due to poor audience test scores, so Marvel wants to do yet another round of reshoots to avoid, well, another round of this kind of mess. And I've talked a lot recently about a lot of reshoots. Look at specifically Indiana Jones and how apparently they've screen tested it like 7 times, 6 or 7 times. None of them have worked. The audience, or the critics, I should say, that are watching it have not been impressed. And it sounds like the Marvels is also facing an issue where, well, the tests are not going well and people are pretty disappointed with the content. Thank you, Chris, for the $4.99 super chat. In your opinion, why do almost all major releases in entertainment, books, games, movies get delayed and delayed multiple times now? Because companies, I think, companies are not giving the creatives enough time, and they are not confident in the product. So it's kind of like this bad cycle. I mean, specifically look at something like Cyberpunk, right? The developers needed like another year with the game, but at least another half year. But because the executives and the higher ups at the company really wanted to push the content out for the holiday release to make money, they pushed it out, even though they knew that there were going to be problems and it was going to face backlash. And then we ended up getting a pretty mediocre product. Creatives are being rushed by the leads of studios and their bosses. And, I mean, as it says with the Marvels, they're kind of worried about movies testing poorly, so they end up giving it a little bit more time, hoping that they can squeeze out something slightly better, and then they have to delay it. So I think that it's kind of a mix of those two things. Obviously, not every project is going to be both, or maybe one will be one, maybe another will be another. But yeah. If a book is being delayed, it is written by George R.R. Martin. Yeah, also for Elden Ring DLC, we don't know if George R.R. Martin's going to have to help on it, so there's another year gone for Winds of Winter. But, thank you for the 5. It says, everyone loves Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors, and Michelle Pfeiffer, but with Brie Larson and Iman Vellani, that could be a Star Wars level bloodbath of toxicity, and hopefully not only does Disney Marvel not want that for themselves, but they also don't want to do that to their actors. She continued, so while Disney Marvel refuses to admit defeat publicly, totally understandable, never let them see you sweat, I think behind closed doors it's a downright sauna considering the huge scheduling changes that have been made so abruptly. So ultimately, you know, we don't know what will happen with this. I mean, it's going to come out eventually. It's not like they're just going to scrap this film. It's been delayed twice at this point. It's supposed to come out in November. Do I think it will come out in November? Maybe. It's hard to say because I feel like this is one of those films that they are never going to be fully happy with it. They know that people are going to criticize it. People are not going to be happy no matter what they do with the story. So I feel like they're trying to make it good, in quotes, good, but they're hitting a wall where they're like, let's go through another round of reshoots, another round of testing. Well, let's fix this. Another round of reshoots, another round of testing. It's just like this wheel. It's like The Flash, you know? The Flash has been delayed 8 freaking times because they've been worried about Ezra. They've been worried about how the movie will be, perceived. And they're hoping that with every change that they're making, well, it's one less complaint for audiences. So, I don't know. We'll see. But, it doesn't look like the Marvels is going too well for Disney Marvel. Honestly, I don't care. It's sad to have to sit here and say that because I did really love the MCU at one point. Now, let's not debate here, okay? DC's still better than Marvel. Listen, it's just the way it is, you know? You just gotta suck it up, guys. You gotta deal with it. DC's still better than Marvel. They're both absolute messes right now. But yeah, it's looking like things are not going too well for the phase 5 of the MCU. I don't know what they're gonna do at this point. I don't see any projects in the foreseeable future that could fix the MCU, right? Like Secret Invasion, it sounds cool. It sounds interesting. We know there's a lot of big names for it. Maybe it'll be good, but will it be? Who knows? We're not gonna know. Also, I saw this, I don't remember, a couple days ago. I don't remember who it was from, but apparently the Eternals 2 has been added, like, internally to, like, the slate of upcoming films. Like, they're gonna be starting to work on it or something. Yeah, because that's gonna save the MCU. Hey, I've said it a million times. I thought the Eternals would have been better if half of the fucking characters were introduced in a Disney Plus show, and then the second half of the movie was made into an individual movie. But, you know, that's just my probably unpopular opinion. Just like I think Force Awakens was a good standalone movie, and it was a good basis to a trilogy. It's just the other 2 movies that were really fucking shitty. It is what it is, though. Well, yeah, I mean, DC's a mess, the MCU's a mess. I'm obviously not happy with the direction of the DCU right now, but I still think that looking at all the movies, they've got more bangers. Just me. Nah, She-Hulk Season 2 will save the MCU. Surely. Do you guys think that they're gonna actually create She-Hulk Season 2? Let's put up a little poll. And if you vote yes, you're getting banned. Because, well, you are. She-Hulk, yes, no. In all seriousness, though, I feel like they will create She-Hulk Season 2 to, say fuck the haters. Because they admitted straight up that She-Hulk Season 1 was only made to troll the trolls or troll the haters. They knew that it wasn't going to go over well with people, and they still made it. So honestly, I kind of feel like they will do a Season 2. Who in the chat thinks George R. R. Martin will ever finish or will die of natural causes? Oh, I think that George R. R. Martin will come out with a Winds of Winter because I think that, yeah, I think he'll come out with Winds of Winter. I don't think we're ever going to get Fire and Blood's Volume 2, and I don't think we're ever going to get the end of Dunk and Egg, which is so sad because Dunk and Egg is just, oh, it's one of the best things that he ever wrote. I don't think we're ever going to see the end of Dunk and Egg. I don't think we're going to get, well, you know, listen, Fire and Blood Book 2, the problem with that is that he said that it took him like 10 years to write the first one. Does George have another 10 years in him? Hopefully. You know, I'm not wishing any ill will against him. But the guy needs to either just admit defeat or shut up and write. I'm sorry. Hey, I get it. It is totally cool if he doesn't want to write it anymore. But he needs to admit it so that we don't sit here and we're not fucking coping. We're going to get Winds of Winter soon. We're going to get Fire and Blood 2 soon. He just needs to admit defeat. That's all I want. I just want to say, I was right. George. What can I say? All men must die. Vera nerding out. Actually true. I've got illustrated Fire and Blood behind me. I have the Elden Ring guide now too. I'm gonna do my 100% Elden Ring run with the guide that I have now. Yeah, I have a physical guide for a game. You guys are just losers. You're not real gamers. Winds of Winter by Brandon Sanderson. I don't think that he'll ever choose Brandon Sanderson to finish his work because Brandon Sanderson is already known for finishing one major series. I think George is going to pick someone new. I think George is looking. I think George has one eye looking and another eye sleeping because what does he do all day? Come on, George. Okay, next we're gonna chat about Peter Pan a little bit. Let me refresh this to see what the new numbers are. So guys, today, only 8 hours ago, the new trailer, actually I believe it's the first trailer, the official trailer, for Peter Pan and Wendy released. Now this is a movie that they announced like a year ago, year and a half ago. It's another like live action adaptation. Now the thing with Peter Pan is obviously there's been like 3 live actions of this, you know, film and, you know, the book so far. We've gotten several Peter Pans at this point. Hook, the most notable for me personally. And this is just one of their new live actions. Of course, Disney's been live actioning everything lately. We had Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Mulan. We're getting Snow White. We're getting Little Mermaid. Who knows what we're gonna get next? Oh, we got The Lion King, which that was a CGI remake, come on. But Peter Pan and Wendy is releasing, which, interesting. And it's already getting fucking ratioed. So, first of all, why call it Peter Pan and Wendy? Why? Because you want to highlight the woman? Wendy is obviously a central character to Peter Pan, but it has always been called Peter Pan. At this point, just call it something different, like Hook. That was cool. That was a neat name. Okay. Inclusivity, equality. I love equality. Quality's good. But it's called Peter Pan and Wendy now. 524,000 views, and it's only been up for 8 hours. It's number 2 on trending, but it says this year Return to Neverland. Watch the trailer for it and stream the movie event April 28th on Disney Plus. I'll watch this. I'll be, you know, watching this the same way, you know, Captain Hook will. But it says it is a, of course, live action reimagining of the 53 animated classic. So right off the bat, you guys don't even know what's wrong with this. Maybe you're, you know, coming into this discussion blind. You have no clue. Blind react. First of all, reimagining. You already know what the problems are going to be. I don't think that this movie looks good on any level. Now, it's not like a big theater release. It's not quite like their other live actions where they're giant events. They're putting them in theaters. This is a straight to a straight to Disney Plus film. So I think that they didn't expect much from this, but of course, this film is featuring some race swaps, specifically of good old Tinkerbell, a blue-eyed, blonde, pale-skinned character, has now been changed. I've gotta be honest though, there are more problems than just this for me, right? This is something that people are pretty upset about, the fact that another character is being changed. I think that two things in this trailer look good. The first is this sequence. I'm not gonna play stuff because, listen, I'm not gonna lose my channel over fucking Disney, okay? The first thing I thought looked cool is this sequence where they're at the clock tower. I think that looks pretty neat. The second part, the only other thing that I think actually looks good in this, and I have to find it, is the dog, is Nana. That's it for me. The dog in the clock tower. This film definitely screams, to me at least, lower budget. It doesn't look like they really put a lot of money into it, and the money that they put into this, specifically from what I see, went to Jude Law. Jude Law, Fantastic Beasts, Secret of Dumbledore. I could list off 50 things that he's in. He, of course, is one of the main characters in this. I mean, I literally feel like... Oh, and Molly Parker's in it, too. I literally feel like all the budget went to two specific stars. It just looks very low budgety to me. Doesn't look very interesting to me. I don't know. I like Peter Pan a lot. I mean, I care about the Disney live actions because a lot of these movies I personally liked when I was younger. I liked the Disney princesses. I liked things like this. Like, I'm totally up for watching Peter Pan, right? Hook is one of my, like, favorite fucking films of all time. I miss Robin Williams, but that's besides the point. But, oh, also, the Lost Boys now feature girls, which... The Lost Theys? I mean, what do you want to call them now, right? They're not the Lost Boys anymore. But it is getting absolutely ratioed, of course. 524,000 views in, like, 8 hours. Number 2 on trending. 18,000 likes to 66,000 dislikes and 5,974 comments. Someone needs to do research for me, okay? I am not a game journalist. I'm not a journalist. I can't do research. I can't figure this out, okay? Someone needs to find the answer for me. Where did this meme template come from? It's on Star Wars, it was on Rings of Power, it's on Little Mermaid, it's on this. Where does this meme template come from? Somebody clock the fuck in and figure it out, because I've tried. I can't find it. I love the part where Captain Hook says, "Hello, Peter," and then his mechanical squid arms started to grab Peter's body against the wall. Truly a scene. Where did this meme template come from? Because it's driving me cuckoo. It's driving me cuckoo. But, well, they're getting absolutely memed on right now. No, so the meme comes from Rings of Power. But the thing is that I saw it before Rings of Power. I could have swore that there were like waves of this happening before Rings of Power. So can somebody make me a timeline? Can somebody put this in a Google Doc for me? Thank you, Mad Warhammer, for the gifted membership. Theater got the membership. Theater, you're green now. How does it feel? Thank you for the gifted membership. No, I'm pretty sure it was before Rings of Power. I'm pretty sure. A live-action Disney Princess cinematic universe could actually be quite good in my opinion. That's the problem that I have, is that I like the Disney princesses a lot. I know, Vara's a loser. I thought the Cinderella live action wasn't terrible. The thing that I've enjoyed about the live action Disney princesses so far is that I personally feel like all of the visual effects in them have been very good, and they, for the most part, kind of stuck to the source material. Like the Cinderella one, it had minor changes, but visually it was very pretty. To me, it captured the magic of Disney. Same with the Beauty and the Beast one. I personally wasn't a big fan of the Beauty and the Beast one because Emma Watson played Belle, and why the fuck is she speaking with a British voice when they're in France? And also in the original, she just had like a normal English accent. I don't know. Bothered me. Can't stand it, sorry. But I also felt like that one, though, for the most part, kind of captured that Disney magic. Like, I'd love to see, like, a Frozen live action. We don't need it, okay? But, like, also the Aladdin one was also pretty good. Mulan was a stinker. We're not going to talk about Mulan. We're going to pretend like that didn't exist. Because Mulan, absolute stinker. But I feel like most of them have been pretty good. Even if, you know, you're not super, like, into the Disney princesses, like, man, I still think that they're obviously aimed towards children, younger audiences, but I don't think that they were bad. But yeah, like, the Lost Boys are not Lost Boys anymore in this. There's, like, a mixture of girls and boys. It's like the thing with this is that it's one thing after another thing after another thing, and then it becomes like this large pile. No, I'm sick of the British accents. Fuck the British accents. These people are in France. Give them a French gosh darn accent. But some of the characters had a French accent, like Lumiere had a French accent. Okay, Ewan McGregor played the character. So, can you guys decide? Okay, it's really triggering. Vera is a girl, so it's expected she likes the princesses. Like, I don't like all of them, but, like, some of these live actions, they're pretty. And that, to me, is kind of the most important thing, is, like, they look visually very nice. And I feel like Disney did a good job with the first couple of princess movies, and then they just threw them off a cliff, and now they're reimagining. You know, with Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella, they weren't promoting those as, like, reimaginings, but now they are. Yeah, here's two of the Lost Girls. I'm sick of the reimaginings. I'm totally okay with diversity, inclusivity. Go and make something new, though. Why don't you make your own new version of Peter Pan, huh? Why don't you just go make a similar character that happens to be a female person of color, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But it would be original at that point. Also, the movie just looks dull. The only two things that looked visually not dull, again, the clock tower scene, which I thought looked cool, and then, this part with, like, the mermaids. Like, that's what we expect the mermaids to look like in The Little Mermaid. Holly Bailey's mermaid looks nothing like this. I mean, the sea, Under the Sea does look really dull and drab here too, but at least the mermaids kind of look like, I don't know, they're gamers. Like, at least they have some fucking RGB going on. I'm just sick of these movies coming out and them being reimaginings. I understand, like, the normal world here being dull and dreary because, of course, Peter Pan, there was a war going on. Like, I understand that, but why is everything else dull and dreary? Why is Neverland dull and dreary? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I am criticizing a lot with this movie. It's not just the race swaps, okay? I know there's gonna be those people. Vera is just a racist. No, I just am unimpressed with the content that I'm seeing. So yeah, this trailer is getting absolutely ratioed right now. Can't really say I'm surprised, though. 18,000 likes to 66,000 dislikes. It's getting memed on. And, well, things are not looking too good for Disney. They clearly didn't have a lot of confidence in this, though. Because, well, again, it's going straight to Disney Plus and it's not a theater movie. So they clearly knew that it was gonna do bad, or they were not confident in it. So, well, it is what it is. I'm not impressed with it, though. Chloe Grace Moretz was cast as Ariel back in 2016. She backed out to take a break from acting. She doesn't fit. I mean, she's a little closer, I guess. I don't know. I don't see her as Ariel though. She's not a bad actress. She just did Peripheral. So, I mean, she's acting again. Peter Pan and Little Mermaid crossover? Maybe. I remember I think it was in the Disney animated, they had like a mermaid that looked like Ariel. It's like how in every movie there's something that references another one of their movies. They try to get you to watch all of them, like a big cinematic universe. But yeah, it's getting ratioed right now. It's not looking too good for them. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, this is the actress that is playing Tinkerbell. She's mixed ethnicity. African American and Iranian descent. I have to turn my screen off real quick because Twitter. But I don't know if you guys saw a quick little side conversation. Is anyone attacking me on Twitter? Not yet. Yeah, little side piece of information. Apparently they want to make Lord of the Rings a franchise like Star Wars, which definitely is not what people want. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Tolkien's work. I have like 10 Tolkien books behind me right now. Probably like 15. Yeah, probably. I could probably whip up 15 if I was challenged, but I don't want Lord of the Rings to become this like mega Star Wars franchise where there's tons of TV shows and movies. Lord of the Rings to me is sacred, and the only content that should release is the good content. In my opinion, I would rather them not test things out and make like animateds and live action series and all these movies just to push content out. Of course, it is very monetizable, but well, it seems like Warner Brothers Discovery is hoping to change Lord of the Rings and massively monetize it, which makes me very sad. The only thing that I have to say that is potentially good news is that when they announced a couple of days ago that they were going to be doing new movies, Peter Jackson and the other creatives on the Peter Jackson films did kind of give their 2 cents and say that they're trying to find a way to help. And I do feel if they can get Peter Jackson on board with some of these projects, like the new movies that they're talking about and whatever else they're going to do, that for me would be very good. And the animated, the war, I don't remember what it's called, the like animated movie, I think it's just one movie that they're doing. The actress who plays Eowyn is voicing and kind of narrating in the movie, so I think that is great as well. Kind of bringing some of the other actors and creatives back is really awesome, but I don't want Lord of the Rings to be a franchise like Star Wars. I just don't see that being a good idea, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, just my 2 cents. But yeah, thought they did that with the Hobbit films. They did. Peter Jackson and some of the creatives from the Lord of the Rings trilogy did work on the Hobbit movies. I thought the Hobbit movies were good. I don't give a fuck. Haters gonna hate. You guys are toxic, okay? You guys are just losers. Toxic losers. I thought the Hobbit movies were good. They weren't great. They weren't perfect, but they're good. Okay, it's like Star Wars, right? Everybody was prequel haters, and the prequels are bad. They're bad movies. Rings of Power came out, and now you guys are, kissing the boots of the prequel, saying, you know what? Prequels, or no, that's for Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings people are doing the same thing. Oh, Hobbit movies aren't so bad. But with Star Wars, it's like, oh, the sequel trilogy came out. Everybody hates a sequel trilogy way more than the prequels now. Everybody's saying, I'm sorry, the prequels were not that bad. People are doing the same thing with Rings of Power. oh, Rings of Power was so fucking bad. Everyone's like, you know what? I'm sorry, Hobbit movies. You guys are just haters. The Hobbit movies were not that bad. They weren't great, but they weren't awful. The prequel trilogy was not that bad. You guys are just haters. What can I say? Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is funny. I'm not saying that all the Hobbit movies and every decision they made were perfect, because definitely not, okay? But would I take the Hobbit movies or Rings of Power? I know what I'm going for. I know who I'm batting for. I am going for the Hobbit movies. Sorry. Just being honest. Yeah, the first two Hobbit movies were definitely the best out of the two. Obviously, I think for most people, it's the first Hobbit movie was the best. The second was second best. Third was definitely a swing and a miss. But don't hate. Stop being haters. So yeah, apparently Warner Brothers wants to turn Lord of the Rings into a franchise like Star Wars. I'm not here for that. I don't like that idea. I think it's a bad idea. I think they're unfortunately going to over-monetize Lord of the Rings, push out content, push out content, push out content, and then, you know, they're eventually going to say we're dropping this for like another decade because we pushed out too much content and people are not watching and consuming, and then we're going to get blamed for it. So, anyway, guys, now we get to talk about Star Wars. Smaug was alright. Smaug was fucking sick. And Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job. He was great. I watched 20 minutes of the Rings of Power and then turned it off. I'm gonna admit to you guys, I tried watching Rings of Power. I watched all of the Rings of Power except for the last episode. I was watching every week. Ugh, I had to talk about it. I was watching it. And then I mentally tapped out. I acted to myself, like I kept convincing myself. I watched the last episode because I had to read the synopsis and I saw so many clips. I was like, I watched it all. I have mentally convinced myself I watched all of Rings of Power. I did. It was so bad. I did feel the Tempest inside of me. The Tempest was saying, don't fucking do it. So guys, now we get to quickly talk about The Mandalorian. This isn't gonna be a very long topic, just because there's not really a lot here, but, of course, Season 3, I believe, airs tomorrow? It's either tonight or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow, at, like, technically, like, midnight or 3 a.m., but, well, chat, they have decided to kind of sort of address what happens with Cara Dune. Now, you guys all know Gina Carano got fired from Disney and they decided to not work with her anymore. And that caused major controversy. It really divided people. And Season 3 is releasing soon. And of course, everyone wants to know what they're doing about Cara Dune after firing Gina Carano. And they are basically saying that, well, she's not, obviously, employed by Lucasfilm right now, and there's no plans for her to be in the future, but kind of never say never with this character. So, it says in a new interview with Deadline, the Mandalorian executive producer said Cara Dune will not be killed off, but exists somewhere in the Star Wars universe. Cara was a big part and continues as a character to be part of the world. It had to be addressed in the creative teams, and it took time to think about that. It was something that was discussed and we knew it was going to have impact on the show, but at the same time, what has been at the heart of the show are the two main characters, Grogu and Din Djarin. So ultimately, it felt like a servicing of that and around the Mandalorians. So the excuse that they're giving is that Season 3 is mainly dealing with the Mandalorians, the Mandalorian saga, the Mandalorian tale, so she wouldn't really fit into that category. But to me, this screams we're gonna make money off of this character at some point. It seems like they wanted to give it some time, and they knew that there was going to be controversy surrounding this season release because they did fire Gina Carano and of course got rid of Cara Dune. They knew that there was going to be a lot of heat, so they decided, you know what, let's play this, you know, tactfully. Let's not recast, let's not use this character, let's use the excuse that, you know, this character doesn't really fit into this story right now because she is, you know, off doing her own stuff. This focuses mainly on the Mandalorians. To me, though, this screams we are going to monetize this character at some point. I think next season they will recast Cara Dune. They will have a different actress. And honestly, there were a lot of rumors a year and a half ago when Gina was still employed that she was going to get her own movie or her own TV show. I think that they will still do that, but I think that they will do that in like double the amount of time. So if they were planning to do like a Gina Carano / Cara Dune series in a year and a half, it'll be in 3 years. If they were planning on doing it in a year, it'll be in 2 years. I definitely think, though, that they're going to use this character again because they're saying outright that this character is not being killed off, and they're going to, you know, probably end up revisiting her at some point, which to me, I don't know, it's hard because a lot of people like Cara Dune. I like Cara Dune as well, but I also don't really see a way to have a Cara Dune without Gina Carano. She is that character, and I just feel like it's not going to go over well with people. It's not a change like Ant-Man. You know how Ant-Man, they've changed the I don't remember the first actress's name, but they changed Ant-Man's daughter. They had a younger actress, then they had a, you know, like a 18-year-old actress, and now, of course, they've recast her for technically a third time. It's not really like that because we only got small glimpses of the character in those movies, but now, in this, they're completely going to have to recast a character that was central to this show. So who knows what they will end up doing with Cara Dune, but to me it definitely sounds like they plan to use her again in the future, monetize the hell out of this character, but they just wanted to give it a little bit of time because they know that people are upset about it, and people are, definitely. So it is what it is. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. I figured that they would kill her off. Come on. Okay? It is... I'm not hating. But Cara Dune's character was not so unique that they couldn't kill her off and make a character that was basically the same. Not that I want that to happen, okay? I didn't think that Gina should have gotten fired and that, you know, Cara Dune should have been pushed to the side. I don't think that, but it's not like she's such a unique character that, like, she's a Luke Skywalker where you can't just replace her. I'm surprised that they didn't just kill her off in season 3 and then just, like, reboot the character, basically, in the future, but we'll see what happens. It definitely, to me, though, sounds like they plan to use the character again in the future, probably just recast, come up with some crazy story why she couldn't make it into season 3, like, oh, she was kidnapped and hostage and saving the galaxy or something. And, well, it is what it is. Not really surprised. But, yeah, that's all that we really had to discuss with Mandalorian Season 3. Are you guys going to be watching it, or are you skipping out on it? Let me know. So, yeah, guys. Next we're going to be talking about The Last of Us, and then we get to talk about Forspoken. Star Wars is dead. It is very sad to say, but yeah, Star Wars is kind of dead at this point. I love Star Wars. I think Star Wars is great, but the past couple of years have just been a nightmare for the franchise. It makes me sad because I loved Star Wars for so long. I mean, I still play the fucking Star Wars MMO. Star Wars is great, but the direction that they have gone in has just not been a good one. And they don't, it's like they just don't fully know what they want to do. What is wrong with Disney not recasting a character? What do you mean? Well, I don't think Gina should have been fired at all in the first place. And they're admitting that the character is not being thrown away, meaning that they're going to recast her. They didn't recast her now, but they're definitely going to in the future. I mean, they would literally just say, oh, she's killed off, or the character's killed off in the show. They would have put it in season 3, but they're openly admitting they didn't. Rogue One was pretty decent as well. Yeah, I thought that Rogue One was pretty good. Gina's blacklisted in the industry, yeah. It's sad, but can't really say I'm surprised. That's the problem with being part of such a shitty and pretty political industry. Because, well, you get pushed out and then you're blacklisted. Then you're completely screwed and your career's screwed. So guys, now we get to talk about The Last of Us, and I'm sick of The Last of Us. I had to talk for so long about The Last of Us 2. Such a bad game. Now I have to talk about The Last of Us show, which is also not perfect. And, of course, some of the criticisms surrounding The Last of Us have been big topics that I've talked about on the channel over the past couple of weeks. And now, well, The Last of Us is racist. The people that write articles like this, it will never be enough for them. They did extra with this show, okay? They really, really, really highlighted the diversity, the inclusivity, of course, the LGBT romances with Frank and Bill. They completely changed their story, and of course, how their story ended. And now, even though this show has been praised for its diversity and representation, it's racist now. This is a Slash Film article. At first glance, there is little that separates The Last of Us from any other zombie show or film. There's the zombies, lots of murderous raiders, surprise betrayals, and tragic deaths, with survivors finding that there's worse than just the undead out there. And yet the show, and the games it is based on, quickly make a case for itself by introducing small yet significant additions to the zombie mythos that add up to a unique adaptation. It says, yes, this is still a story set in a bleak world desperate for some hope, a world where the mere mention of simple comforts like electricity or running water feel like a miracle. In the world of The Last of Us, human connection is rare, so any meaningful connection is special because of how fleeting it is. In the show and the games, no one is safe, especially if you're black. It is never enough for these people, okay? They demand more representation, more inclusion in entertainment, which, of course, I think that representation is good and perfectly fine. But when you do that, there's certain rules you have to follow, and they didn't follow them because the black characters are killed off, some of them die, and that's racist. Ay, ay, ay. There's suffering, and then there's being black in the zombie apocalypse. Woo! In the world of zombie apocalypses, we're used to seeing characters dying to cruel things happening, because hey, it's the apocalypse. In the world of The Last of Us, however, suffering is disproportionately assigned to black characters, with the likes of Sam, Henry, Riley, and Sarah not just dying, but suffering horrible and pointless deaths. Okay. So they wanted more representation. They said, hey, you need to add more characters of color. You need to do more to represent black individuals in entertainment. But now it's racist that they did that because the characters die. They want plot armor for these characters, and plot armor works sometimes, but it's like they're saying, this character's black, they're not allowed to die, they're not allowed to, suffer, which is fucking absurd. It's the classic, well, only the heroes can be black, only the heroes can be people of color, but all the villains have to be white, because white people are bad. Which we have seen time and time again. Like in Peter Pan, Oh, the heroes, the main characters, well, we can race swap some of them. But hey, white people, you get to keep your villains. Those will never be changed. Because of course, white people bad. It says, what's more is most of these characters are just kids. Aw, man! Listen, we're happy you put representation in this, but the black individuals, the black characters, they're not allowed to die, and also they're kids, so that's bad too. It's never enough for these people. To see any kid die on a zombie show is bad enough, but the games, and now like the TV show, only seem to introduce black characters to immediately kill them off. Oh man, you guys killed kids in this show? That's really bad. Yikes. All of these characters have in common is that they are treated like emotional roadblocks for Joel and Ellie to confront, like lessons to be imparted to them. Yeah, that's like the whole fucking point of the game. Joel and Ellie are the main characters? And you're saying the side characters aren't the main characters? And they're only here to help the main characters progress their story and help them learn lessons? Listen. I've given up a lot of my brain cells for this fucking shit. I'm not gonna lose my last one. When Sarah died in the first episode, it was the first big death on the show, the one that signaled the seriousness of the story, the one that sent Joel on a bleak path of nihilism and self-hatred. When Sam and Henry died tragically in a murder-suicide, it gave Joel panic attacks that made him reconsider his ability to keep Ellie safe. In episode 7, Riley's death happens at the same time that Ellie gets infected, leading to the discovery of her immunity and kickstarting the events of the show. We're called racists simply for criticizing, characters being race swapped. But, well, I guess it's not just us that are the racists, because the show is racist too. Because, oh my god, how could you kill off the characters of color? Not all deaths are made equal. The Last of Us Part 2 gives arguably the cruelest and most gruesome death in the franchise to a black character. On the other hand, there's Bill and Frank. So basically they're saying the two white guys, they fall in love. They have a fairy tale episode, and they die peacefully. But the black characters, they didn't get a fairy tale, and that's racist. It says, of course, in the games, Bill and Frank are the first gay couple the players come across, and the tragic and violent end of it heavily impacts Ellie. with her seeing that happy relationships, especially queer ones, can't survive in the post-apocalypse. But while Bill and Frank get dignified deaths that serve their own stories in the show, the same cannot be said for any of the black characters. Henry and Sam did not get a proper end to their story, nor did Riley. We didn't get to see the beginning or even the middle of their journeys, only the parts convenient to motivate Ellie and Joel before leaving them to die horrible deaths. So you're saying we didn't get to see the lives of these characters because they don't happen to be the main characters? That's crazy. Honestly, really offensive. Anyway, guys, that's really all this article had to highlight, but as you can see, another banger of a cringe-worthy article. Well, guys, Last of Us is racist now. This is the problem with these individuals, that it's never enough. It is never good enough. They complain that there were too many white characters. They complain that there needs to be more representation. But when you add the representation and you happen to race swap characters who die, or you add characters that happen to die and they happen to be people of color, you're called a racist. This is why you do not pander to people. This is why you just create the content that you want to create, because it's never going to be good enough for them. At least at the end of the day, you would be able to sit here and you would be able to say, you know what? Yeah, people didn't like my show. People didn't like my content, but at least I liked my content. But when you start pandering and changing things to appeal to specific, certain, special snowflakes online, you're never going to get the answer you want. You're never gonna get the outcome that you want. So, yeah, guys, fun times. I thought that I would show you all that article. Great. Love the articles like this. Very fun. So, yeah, fun times. Does this article writer have pronouns in their bio? No, doesn't look like it. They write for Slash Films. Looks like they wrote for IGN at one point. Definitely great. But yeah. Slash Film article. No need to compare and defend between the game and the TV show, both directed and controlled by Neil Druckmann himself. Yeah, but even Neil Druckmann admitted that they changed a bunch of things because he was just happy to get a show, which is the fucking problem. That's the problem with someone like Neil Druckmann, is he literally admitted he was making a boatload of money off of it, so he didn't care what they wanted to change in the show, and they just changed it because, well, money. It's so sad. That's why I don't like Neil Druckmann. He sucks. I do not like you, Neil Druckmann. If you ever hear this, you're a loser. That's it. That's all I really had to say to him. Fun times, though. Let them destroy each other. I'll be eating my popcorn. Well, they are. I mean, there's nothing to deny. They are destroying themselves. He was probably told to write a rage click piece. Oh yeah, I mean, it gets clicks, you know, rage baiting, it works. I mean, an article like this definitely makes people upset. I mean, I'm here sitting talking about it, but that's why I use archives. That's why I, you know, usually do not just go to their website overall and just kind of like click around. I mean, they're lucky if they get, you know, one click from someone like me, because they're never going to get it again. I wonder what else has been released on their site lately. I never look at Slash Film because, well, you can tell. Also, Mad Warhammer, thank you for gifting another membership to the channel. Objection. Got it. Nice. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Sorry, I'm I'm just looking to see if there's anything of substance here. They seem like very lame articles. Yeah, they all seem like very lame articles. Anyway, stupid. Ooh, time to talk about something spicy. Best topic of the night by far. I love laughing at shitty game companies and bad game developers and bad games in general because it's fucking hilarious. Really quickly though, guys, before we get into the last topic of the evening, if you're enjoying the live stream, make sure to give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Check out links in the description. Become a member via YouTube memberships. Become a supporter via Patreon. Donate through Streamlabs, notifications pop up, super chat, all that fun stuff. But thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed because YouTube doesn't like to keep people subscribed to channels. Woo! I'm so happy to talk about this. I'm gonna be making a video on this. I'm not gonna stop talking about this for the next fucking year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Forspoken was one of the worst games to release over the past few years. It was just not a good game. It had technical issues. The dialogue was peak cringe. Overall, it just was not a good title. And it was actually a bit surprising because of the people behind this project. If you did not know, Luminous Productions was a team of veteran Square Enix developers. Of course, they most notably worked on Final Fantasy 15. They did a lot for the game. There were a lot of people that were put into this studio to attempt to make a new big hit. Unfortunately, though, even though this game was made by Japanese developers, it did feel very westernized. Like, they thought they understood the Western market and they tried to make something for it, and it turned out to be a major disappointment. But now, Forspoken did so poorly. Luminous Productions, the studio behind Forspoken, has shut down. They, as a studio, made one game, and that was Forspoken. And now, they're done. Ooh, that's gotta sting. Publisher Square Enix has just confirmed via a short press release that its subsidiary studio, Luminous Productions, will be shutting down. Its developers will be folded into the larger Square Enix development arm. Now, again, keep in mind, these people worked at Square Enix, they worked on Final Fantasy, and they just kind of shoved them all into this new production studio, thinking, you know what, let's give it a go, let's put them on a project, let's see what they can make. And unfortunately, it didn't turn out well, so most of these people are not losing their jobs, no matter how bad Forspoken was and how poorly it failed. They all are just getting moved around within the company, because a lot of them are, you know, veteran Square Enix devs. But, well, it's not looking good for them regardless, because Luminous Productions has officially only released one title, its critically mixed open-world RPG Forspoken, which came out about a month ago. So it appears far from coincidental that it is now deciding to shut down the studio. There's no coincidence here. They only came out with one game, and it was harshly scrutinized and criticized. I mean, let's be honest. This game has awful ratings on, you know, IMDb and Metacritic, and I mean, social media was in an uproar about this game. And I mean, Hi-Fi Rush, which was shadow dropped only a couple of days after this release, ended up doing better. And obviously, you can put two and two together and see that this game killed an entire subsidiary studio. Because it was that bad. A month after release. We're not talking like half a year, you know, maybe they started work on something else. A month. That has gotta sting. It says, Though it wasn't a commercial flop, ranking 7th in the list of best-selling games in the US for January, as per NPD, Square still clearly considered the Luminous devs were better off working on other projects. Yeah, I mean, it did still sell, as it says, like it hit 7th for January, but we're talking about 1 month. And it was actually a pretty light month. The only other thing that came out was like 4 or 5 days after it, which was the Dead Space remake, and that was like number 1 on the list. And then of course Hi-Fi Rush ended up being like number 2. 7th though, we don't know, at least I don't believe we know how much this game cost. We don't know the budget, but I mean, it couldn't have been cheap. It says though that as per the official statement by Luminous, the merger will occur on May 1st, up until which the team will focus on delivering patches and improve the performance. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like they're not dropping the game, which is good, but they are being re-merged back on May 1st. It says that they will still be doing patches and improving the visual performance, so they're not dropping the game. And it says that they are still going to do the DLC. It's called Entanto We Trust. It says that it is still slated to arrive this summer, which is good. I mean, I didn't play this game. I didn't care about it. I had really no interest in it because it seemed really fucking poor. But at least, you know, the people who did buy it are getting the DLC. I'd much rather them basically shut their mouth and release content instead of just drop a game, because of course then every developer feels like they can drop a game and not actually release all the content they promised, and that is definitely a bad direction for the gaming industry to go in. But yeah, I mean, they posted this update, and of course people were absolutely laughing at them. Congratulations, looks like Square Enix was satisfied with Forspoken's financial performance despite low reviews. Is there any hope that you would ever revisit the tech demo and perhaps expand on it to make a whole new Final Fantasy game? I mean, people here are completely disregarding the fact that a whole fucking studio was just shut down because this game did so poorly. They're like, you know what, yeah, that's great and all, but when are you gonna fucking answer us about Final Fantasy, you know? I think that that's so funny. I don't want to sit here and like roast the developers, right? Because obviously it's not like there were 3 people working on a game that made decisions. We're talking about hundreds of people, executives. So it's not just one person's fault, but this game was really fucking bad. I mean, this game was a nightmare, and it deserved to fail. This is what happens when you don't understand your audience. It's just what happens. They have this Japanese production team creating like a westernized game. It's like they told them, make something that you feel is Western, which of course ended up being like cringy dialogue, like Gen Z humor that even me as a Gen Z didn't find funny. A really fucking annoying like protagonist, and also like not only just the main female character, but also like the bot that she had with her, like the AI, I don't remember what he was called. It just wasn't good. It didn't turn out good. People are also, yeah, kind of coping here. Great seeing you are staying around. I can't wait to see more from you. Are they like memeing? We have faith in your passion. We hope for a next astonishing new game from you. Like, what are people just not actually reading the contents of this? Actually, a Jarvis wannabe. And there are, of course, a lot of people in the comments section, you know, roasting them and saying, what the fuck, guys? Like, what are you doing? There are people saying that the newest update on PC has broken the game for me, and the camera movement is awful. Like, there are major issues even for the people who have purchased it, which is disappointing. Again, I didn't buy it because I thought that it looked really, really bad and I wasn't gonna waste my money on it, but it clearly had some major problems, and they still haven't fixed them. So I don't know, chat. It's not looking too good. I mean, rest in peace, Luminous. Rest in peace, Forspoken. thank you for making an amazing game. These people don't understand what's going on. They don't understand what's going on. It clearly wasn't a good game. It clearly wasn't loved. It clearly wasn't an amazing title. These people need to learn to read. They're literally announcing, yeah, we failed so fucking epically, we have to shut down our studio. Do we know the budget of this game? Forspoken 2023 budget. Do we know the budget? Doesn't look like we know the budget. Uh-oh, time to pull up a Wikipedia. Project Athia. I remember that name. Yeah, we never got the budget. I mean, I'm sure if I did some digging, I could probably find some information about it, potentially, like guesses, but well, guys, Forspoken is or was such a failure. Luminous Productions is now shutting down. Honestly, I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, this game was a nightmare. Some people spent $80 on this game. Yeah. I feel very bad for the people who ended up spending a lot of money on this game. I couldn't even convince myself to spend 60 on it. Never mind like 70, 80. It's so bad. They don't want to admit the loss? Probably not. I'm sure in the next few weeks we'll hear about it, though. I'm sure something will leak. Usually when this happens, we hear some major studio leaks. I mean, maybe something else behind the scenes happened. Maybe they had a certain budget and they went way over it, and they, you know, were convinced that it was gonna do better, and then it didn't. Who knows, right? There's always more to the story, but at least from what we know right now, Luminous Productions has been shut down. What's the rating on this? Metacritic. Not Saints Row. I've looked it up so many times now, Saints Row pops up. Forspoken. Yes, please. Ooh. Gee whiz, I wonder why they canceled it, or why they shut down the studio. A 1.7 on PC, and a PlayStation 5 is a 3.4. Also, guys, keep in mind that this was a console exclusive. This was a PlayStation 5 exclusive, so they clearly got some money for that. Seems pretty bad to me. Seems like a fucking disaster. I think it's pretty funny though. But yeah, those were a lot of the main topics I had to discuss tonight, guys. If you have any suggestions, anything you'd like me to talk about, let me know in chat. Feel free to put some topics in chat. If Vera bought one copy, the studio would have been saved. If they send me an email right now, or a tweet right now, saying, if I bought this game in the next hour, okay, or by midnight, if I bought a copy of this game, I would single-handedly save this fucking studio and this group of developers. If I swiped my credit card and bought one single copy, I'd save this whole production and the company. I would not save them. Sorry. I wouldn't buy a copy. I'm not a hero. You guys suck. Anyway. Writing let the game down in the simple combat. The combat didn't look bad to me. Like, the combat looked okay. It's just the story and the characters looked so awful. Sorry, I'm looking for a fuck to give and I don't have one. When are you reviewing MILF Manor, Vera? when they give me $1,000 to review the game, to review the whole show. How many episodes of MILF Manor is there? MILF Manor. How? 8 episodes? No, that's the number of MILFs. How many episodes? 6? These bitches couldn't even make 8? Okay, let's do some math. Alright. So six episodes. Is $100 an episode worth it? No. I don't think 160 is worth it. You know what? For $166, for each episode. Hit me up, TLC. I'll review your show. I'll review your show for $1,000. Thanks. Vera's not the hero they need. I am not. Fuck Luminous Productions. Fuck Forspoken. I have not finished Atomic Heart yet, but we will be finishing it on Thursday. Because that's the next game stream. So we'll be finishing it on Thursday, and then I have a new game, I believe, to play over the weekend. Also, guys, next week during the discussion stream, so next Tuesday, I will have some news to announce about next weekend, because I will not be here for a couple days. I put it in the supporter chat already in Discord, so if you're a member, become a member now. You get access to that sweet information, a nice Discord channel, or Patreon. But yeah, next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I will not be live streaming and putting up content, because I will not be here. But I'll be doing stuff. I pre-record content, maybe do a live stream. But yeah, fun times. I'll announce that next week. What game is this weekend? So we should be finishing Atomic Heart on Thursday. I'm pretty confident that we will be finishing it on Thursday, and then over the weekend we're going to be playing Grim Guardians Demon Purge. It just came out last week, and I was nice enough to be offered a code by P-Cube. If you guys don't remember, or maybe you do, in Galgun, you remember the sisters, Shinobu and Maya? They got their own game. So in Galgun, they always were going on about how their family were demon hunters, and their family, you know, they couldn't be friends with the main character because they were demon hunters. Anyway, they got their own Castlevania-esque game. So we're gonna be streaming that. No, PAX is not until the end of March. Yes, I do have a copy of Wolong. Somebody donated a copy off of the Amazon wishlist, but I don't know who it was, and I pre-ordered a copy just in case that copy doesn't come, but I will be streaming Wolong. Wolong releases next week, though, and I will not be here. Yeah, Wolong releases... Oh, no, Wolong releases on the 3rd. Oh! Okay, so actually, scratch that. We'll be playing Wolong this weekend, and then... Not next weekend, because I won't be here for most of the weekend. The weekend after, we'll be playing Grim Guardians. But I will be playing that at some point. I'm very excited for it. Thank you to PQ for sending me a code. But yeah, we will be playing Grim Guardians probably in like 2 weeks then. This weekend, I'll be playing Wolong. I thought Wolong was next weekend. I got the dates mixed. But we will be playing Wolong this weekend. And we should be finishing Atomic Heart on Thursday. So yeah, fun times. But yeah, PAX is at the end of March, and I will be going to PAX. That is my current plan. I'm a little bit disappointed with PAX because they do have mask mandates, but I will be going, as far as I'm aware. Waifu games with 2D pixel style seems kind of pointless. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Grim Guardians looks really, really good, though. And, I'm pretty excited for it. I'm gonna play it. Looks pretty good. I like the characters. I like the style. It to me looks pretty fun. As long as there's no ooh-woo sounds, I'm sure that we can get a couple ooh-woos out of this game. What's your opinion on Atomic Heart? So, we're almost done the game. It's been fun so far. I've been enjoying Atomic Heart. I definitely think it's not perfect, though. It has a lot of technical problems. It's got some issues, but it's fun. I definitely wouldn't recommend it at $60 or $70, but it's like a $30 to $40 game. I'm playing it on Game Pass, so my opinion on it's a little different. It's definitely worth it on there, though. So, yeah. Fun times. Going to PAX, Vera will try to convince us that she walks on legs. I mean, I went to Boston Fan Expo in August, and I walked around. But yes, PAX is in a couple of weeks, and I will be going. Game is fun. I love Nora. Nora is a very fun character. I do not like Charles, though. Charles reminds me of the Forspoken fucking AI magic god that talks to the main character. Kind of similar, but yeah. That Boston Fan Expo was just as real as the moon landing, Vera. The moon landing was real. And so was Boston Fan Expo. I will be at PAX and Anime Boston and Fan Expo. If you guys want to meet me, all you gotta do is buy a plane ticket and a hotel, and you're gonna need food, and then you can meet me, and it will be real. Technical issues, that's so rare. Are you trolling? I modded the Fan Expo stream. Trust me, it was fake. Definitely. The moon isn't real? Oh god, here we go, Chris. The moon isn't real, Earth is flat, it's a hologram. I could fuck with the theory that the moon is a hologram, though. I could fuck with that theory. I'll wait for a sale, then thank you. Yeah, I mean, Atomic Heart has been fun, but it's, at this point, it's got too many technical problems for me to sit here and confidently say, yeah, go and spend $60 or $70 on it. When is the expo? PAX East is from the 23rd to the 26th of March. Anime Boston is in April. It's like 2 weeks into April, I believe. And then Boston Fan Expo is in August, because last year it was in August. Yeah, Chris is actually sitting here leaking the truth, though. Come on, Chris. That's not fair. Atomic Heart reminds me of Serious Sam. It's a Euro jank, like game like Atomic Heart. Yeah, similar. We're trapped in a holodeck simulation. We're not trapped in any simulation. The Earth is not flat. The moon is not a hologram. I think. That's what the news says, and clearly they're right. Vera is in advanced vampire AI, but don't tell everyone. Really pulling out the tinfoil hats tonight, huh, chat? Fun times. But yeah, guys, those were the main topics that we had to discuss tonight. Is there anything else that's happened that you guys want me to talk about? Is anything else fun happening? Oh god. The Guardians of the Galaxy poster. I know I mentioned it a couple of days ago in a stream about how awful Nebula looked, but god, Karen Gillian tried to respond, but she didn't actually address the issue. She basically said that it was the pose. She chose this pose. She thought she looked really cool, and that's fine. It's not the pose that's the problem. It's the fact that, okay, the pose is a little bit of a problem, but the main issue is how they made the character look like a dude. Of the current gen consoles, what would you recommend getting? A PS5? So, the thing with recommending is, what games are you most interested in playing? Because of course there's exclusives. Like, do you want to play a Starfield? Do you want to play an Elder Scrolls 6? You're gonna need an Xbox for that. That shit isn't coming out on PlayStation. I personally have gotten a lot more use out of my PlayStation 5. For sure. I've gotten a lot more use out of my PlayStation 5. I love Xbox Game Pass, which obviously is on console, but it's also on PC. I recommend getting a PC. That's always what I recommend. Mine would be PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, OLED, and then Xbox. But PC always first. Karen is lying, taking one for the team? Probably. Starfield 2026. Listen. Chris, listen. Yes. We're not gonna get Starfield for a very long time. But we're gonna get Starfield before Winds of Winter. We're gonna get... Yeah. We're gonna get Starfield before Winds of Winter. Not by much. And it's gonna be Starfield, Winds of Winter, and then Elder Scrolls 6. That's my final lock-in. I will bet money on that. I'm in a video game, of course. Not on YouTube, because YouTube will ban me. Fun times, though. Some Xbox Game Pass games are on PC. Not always. There are actual console exclusives where it's not put on PC. That don't impress me much. Okay, Shania Twain. Starfield, speaking of technical issues... Oh, God. I think Starfield's gonna be rough. Starfield gameplay. When did we first see the Starfield gameplay? 8 months ago. June. Okay, so this was Summer Games Fest. It reminds me so much of Cyberpunk. And listen, okay? Cyberpunk was good, right? I would play Cyberpunk again. I will play Cyberpunk when the DLC comes out. But Cyberpunk combat was pretty clunky. I'm not trying to be toxic. Cyberpunk combat was clunky, and this looks just as clunky. It does not look perfect. Shut up, Todd. I don't remember fucking asking. Show me the god darn gameplay, Todd. I mean, it doesn't... Oh, God. It's only like 5 minutes of gameplay, guys. But it's got some problems. I've got some criticisms. One day we'll get this, though. Oh, also... I think we're gonna get Starfield... Okay, Starfield, Winds of Winter, Grand Theft Auto 6, Elder Scrolls 6. So I'm locking in another game. It's like Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky mixed together, which isn't necessarily bad, but it definitely feels like Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky mixed. This was gameplay from half a year ago, or 8 months ago. Starfield releasing the 4, Winds of Winter doesn't impress me much. What would impress you, Chris? If George R. R. Martin tomorrow shadow dropped Fire and Blood 2, Winds of Winter, and fucking the end of Dunk and Egg, would that impress you, Chris? Can we trade Starfield for the next Fallout? I don't want them to. I like Fallout, but after 76, I don't want them to fuck it up anymore right now. Shut the fuck up about GTA 6 that's coming in the next 10 years. I think that it will release before Elder Scrolls 6. We're gonna get GTA 6 before ES 6. For sure. For sure. And yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. I mean, at least for Grand Theft Auto 6, there was that whole, like, alpha build leak or whatever. There was, like, 20 hours worth of fucking leaked footage. At least that exists. Elder Scrolls 6, they've been... What have they been doing? What have you guys been doing, Todd? We've got nothing there. Skyrim in space? This does not look like Skyrim in space. Don't insult Skyrim like that, okay? Skyrim, I've bought 8 times and it's not even in my top 3 games. Don't you think that's fucked? It's not even in my top 5 games. I have bought like 8 copies of Skyrim. It's like not even in my top 5. It might be in my top 10, but it would be like 7 or 8, you know? How much money have I spent on Skyrim? So I've bought like probably 3 copies at $50. Actually, let me do this math on my phone. So I've bought like 3 copies at 50, so 150. And then I've bought like 3 copies. No, I've bought all the rest at 60, right? I own like 7 copies. Plus 4 copies. I've spent $400 on Skyrim. Honestly, those are kind of Ricky numbers. I gotta pump that up. I gotta buy a copy of Skyrim for Switch. I gotta Amazon that. Amazon. Skyrim, Nintendo Switch. How much is it? Just out of curiosity. $50? Be here in 2 days. I got 230 hours. I've had to have put in like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 hours into Skyrim at this point. I mean, how many times have I restarted Skyrim? Also, to be fair, the first copy of Skyrim I got was with an Xbox. I got a brand new Xbox 360 and it was in a bundle. So technically, that was like $300. Because it also came with an Xbox. Farrah opens her closet and all these copies of Skyrim fall out. I wish that they were all physical, but they don't make physical PC games. And I have it on... I have the base edition on both GOG and Steam. And then I have the anniversary edition. Oh my god, I just forgot something. Oh, I don't want to tell you guys this. I already told you once. Oh, a couple months ago, like 3 months ago. Okay, so let's start the story. 6 months ago, I wanted to play Skyrim on PC, so I bought the anniversary edition on PC, which of course is $60. And then like 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, I bought it on GOG because I forgot I had it on PC, and I was gonna return it, and I never returned it. That one, I will admit, was completely my fault. I meant to return the GOG copy. I didn't. So technically I own 8 copies of Skyrim right now. My brain, it didn't compute. I forgot that I owned it on PC, even though I did a whole playthrough on the PC on that version. I will admit I forgot to return that one. I still can. I haven't put any game time into it. Farrah likes giving money to Todd Howard. One day this guy's gonna fucking notice me. I am single-handedly fueling the fucking voice actor salary. A voice actor salary. Farrah buys Skyrim by accident repeatedly. Listen, at this point, I just... What can I say? If I see Skyrim, I buy it. Get 2 more to make it an even copy. Well, I was actually just thinking about buying it on Switch. Then I'd be a 9. What else could I buy it on? There's nothing else to buy it on that I don't already own it on, though. I guess I could just go to GameStop and buy a physical copy. They can't be, like, more than 30 bucks at this point. If you guys ever need a copy of Skyrim, let me know. I'm like a Skyrim fucking dealer over here. But chat, I'll be wrapping up stream in about 5 minutes, so if you have any questions, or topics you'd like me to discuss, feel free to leave them in chat. It's been a very interesting end of stream. Usually at the end of stream, we're just chatting. It's been interesting. You guys are really calling me out of my bullshit, and you know what? I thank you for that, but also, I don't remember asking. Wii U? It didn't come out on the Wii U. I'm going to eBay right now. It didn't come out on the Wii U. Why would you say that? The only fucking game that was worth anything on that shit was Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it only ever came out... Breath of the Wild was the only thing that fucking Wii U was worth. Wii U sucked. I still have a sealed Wii U copy of Breath of the Wild. What's your thoughts on Legend of Vox Machina thing? I honestly do not really care. Breath of the Wild is dog shit. Breath of the Wild is good. It's not great, it's not amazing, it's not perfect. Can you cover the Octopath 2 localization changes? I haven't seen much about it. So I'll have to look into it. Do you like almonds? Yeah, almonds are decent. Peanuts are better. I wrote down about the localization. I will have to look into that. Thoughts on Tears of the Kingdom? I'm pretty excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's good. I'm definitely gonna play it at release. I feel kind of underwhelmed with the marketing material right now just because we've seen basically nothing about it. But I'll play it when it releases for sure. Breath of the Wild is a classic. Breath of the Wild is fucking overrated. You guys need to stop simping. It's good. It's not great. It's not perfect. It's not amazing. Twilight Princess, way better. I mean, literally every fucking Zelda game is almost better than Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is good. It was empty, though. No, it's not a 97. I'd give it like an 8. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. And that's because, like, all of the other ones are 9s. Do you know any good movies? No. Just here hoping Stalker 2 is good. I hope Stalker 2 is good as well. But it's been delayed, what, twice now? It is not a 97. They gave it a 97 because it was easy. Breath of the Wild was good. I don't want to sit here and sound like I hated it, but it was not a 97. Okay? No, not a 97. The only things that are 97s in my book are KOTOR. You know what? KOTOR is like a 9 out of 10. Because KOTOR visually is not the best anymore, and it does have some technical problems. But, like, for me, it's still one of my favorite games ever because it was just so nostalgic, and I love it, and I could play it a million times. Also, that's coming from the girl whose Skyrim is still, like, in only the top 10, not even top 5. The only 97s are Elden Ring, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evils, Halos, like 97, not Breath of the Wild. Anyway, chat, with that being said, I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. Of course, if you did not see today's video, go and check it out. I talked about The Last of Us, so go and check out that video. New videos tomorrow, of course. No stream tomorrow because it is Wednesday, but I will be back on Thursday playing more Atomic Heart. And then over the weekend, we'll be playing Wolong, which is very, very exciting. So, yeah, check out the links in the description. Follow me on social media. Join our Discord server. Also, thank you guys for your donations, for your support. I do really appreciate it. So, yeah, check out today's video. Thank you all so much for stopping by. And have a fantastic evening, everyone.